Nigeria, whose president, Bola Tinubu, is the current ECOWAS chairman. Earlier on Monday, an ECOWAS source said West African nations were not envisaging an immediate military intervention at this stage. There was a mild drama on the floor of the Senate today when a senator representing Abuja Central Senatorial District, Darlington Nwokocha, moved a motion for the suspension of the ministerial screening of a senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo. Nwokocha's motion was immediately seconded by his colleague from Abuja South Senatorial District, Naya Abaribe.
Oh, Mr. President of the Senate, I'm of the opinion that we hold this down a little bit, and I move a motion that we suspend forthwith this nomination and wait until when this is clear, so that he can freely work in our environment and tell Nigerians, I have perfectly done well because this record has been put straight. That is my submission, Mr. Senate President. I rest my case.
And in view of the fact that this nominee rejected the summons of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, that I do support that this nominee should step down pending when he decides that the National Assembly has that right to inquire into the workings of a minister and his ministry.
Senate President Godswill Akpabio thereafter subjected the motion to a voice vote, but the lawmakers were divided on the matter. The Red Chamber immediately erupted into a rowdy session amid heated arguments between the lawmakers. Senate Majority Leader Okoyemi Bamidele called for a closed-door session. The Senate President rose to his feet and announced that the Senate would enter into a closed session.
A motion has been moved and seconded that this Senate do resolve into a closed session to iron out some issues of national concern. Those who are in support of this closed session as moved say aye. Again, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate will now revert to a closed session. The press will leave us, and the nominee will leave us for a while.
When the Senate eventually reconvened, Festus Keyamo tendered an apology to the lawmakers.
I'm competent for, and I do that to the entire Senate. At this time, maybe it was as a result of the lack of knowledge of the fact that this matter had long been resolved between us and the members of that committee. Subsequently, there were so many hearings, budget defense and all that we attended on a very convivial atmosphere. So the apologies without reservation at all. I apologize.
Service colleagues, I'm Mohamed Ali Dore. I move the motion that do accept the apologies to the nominee. I so move. Thank you, Mr. President. That the apologies of our brother, Sister Keyamo, do be accepted.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and duly seconded that the apologies tendered to the Nigerian Senate in the past, today, and in the future by our brother over his conduct in the 9th Senate be accepted. Those who are in support of this motion say aye, and those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. The apologies are hereby accepted.
As the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors gear up for a nationwide protest, the union decries the mass exodus of its members every day to other African countries over better working conditions and infrastructure. This comes barely 24 hours after the association announced its intention to picket the Federal Ministry of Health, Office of the Health Civil Service of the Federation, as well as federal and state tertiary health institutions nationwide from Wednesday. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has signed the Civil Aviation Master Plan with the International Civil Aviation Organization. The Director General of the Civil Aviation in Nigeria, Captain Musa Nuhu, and ICAO Secretary General Juan Carlos signed the agreement during a recent visit by the DGCA to the ICAO in Montreal, Canada. No fewer than 6 people have been rescued by the Nigerian Air Force Special Forces in Kaduna State. The rescued victims comprise 6 females who were kidnapped from Niger State and a male. A statement from the NAV Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gapweb, on Monday said the victims were rescued by special forces on night patrol. The People's Democratic Party in Benue State has accused the state governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, of breaching the constitutional provision of submitting a list of commissioners to the State House of Assembly within 60 days in office. The State Publicity Secretary of the party, Bembe Iyertoyom, stated this at a news briefing in Makurdi. The party regretted that the governor had breached the provision of the Constitution stating that the letter to the Speaker of the State Assembly, read on the floor of the House, was without names of commissioner nominees.
State is under mandatory obligation of law to submit names of nominees for screening and confirmation as commissioners to be appointed into his cabinet within 60 days of his taking oath of office. However, the Benue State governor fails to adhere to this requirement of law.
Meanwhile, the ruling All Progressives Congress in the state has debunked the claim of the PDP, saying that the commissioners' nominees were attached to the letter sent to the State House of Assembly. According to Governor Hyacinth Alia, the list of the commissioner nominee was submitted to the State Assembly, and he doesn't know why the Assembly has not announced this.
We're giving 60 days for the formation to be, for the names to be submitted and formation made. I fulfilled my constitutional right to do that. The letter was given, list was also made. It is left for the Assembly to announce when they want to do the screening. They have actually given me a date when they want to do that, but I cannot do their work for them.
And on the foreign scene, the Premier of South Africa's Western Cape province is taking legal action to try and end a taxi strike that has brought services to a halt in the city of Cape Town and led to deadly violence. At least 3 people have died since the strike began on Thursday last week. Some of Cape Town's roads have been blocked, with access to the city's airport affected. And in sport, England scraped into the quarterfinal of the Women's World Cup when they beat Nigeria 4-2 on penalties in Brisbane. Despite Nigeria having the better of the chances throughout, the European champions reduced to 10 players after 87 minutes, snuck home in front of 50,000 spectators after the match had finished 0-0 at the end of extra time. England held on after playmaker Lauren James received a red card for a needless stamp and will know they have to improve if they want to add the World Cup to their European crown. And that's the Citizen FM News at 6. I am Lawrence Omoite.